They stole your computer. Your baby Poindexter?
Poindexter.
Relax.
Why?
I sold it back to the store where I got it. I got your tuition money.
If you were lucky enough to watch black television in the late 80s, you were able to watch really positive images of black people, and more specifically black men. And there was no couple on television that was more pronounced or hotter, if you will, than Whitley and Dwayne Wayne. And really the star of the show was Dwayne Wayne himself. And it was extremely refreshing to not only see a young black man be the star of the show like Different World, but to see a young, geeky, socially awkward guy win the day, and in the end, win the girl. If you're familiar with the black church, you understand that there are many different types of not only churches, but preachers. And there's a type of preacher known as the fire and brimstone preacher. And if a different life, Little Big Nate would have been one of them. And you're going to hear some of Little Big Nate right here on the Bernard Riley Show. Shout out to Bernard Riley, fair use.
But when you're independent, the very term means under no one's authority or control. You can't have a marriage with a woman who will not let you exercise a modicum of control over her. Remember, she's independent. You cannot control her, and you will have no authority over her. So therefore, there's nothing you can do with it.
Here, Little Big Nate is talking about one of the problems with the idea of protecting and providing in the modern environment.
And that out of the other side of the mouth, you're asking a man to protect and provide for you. Men do not protect and provide for their equals. Grown men do not protect and provide for grown men.
Remember when I was speaking about fire and brimstone preachers, one thing about fire and brimstone preachers is that they do not hold their tongue and they speak directly. Now, of course, I'm not going to say that men and women are not equal, because I certainly believe men and women are equal in different ways, or however way you choose to slice it. But the logic in his argument is simple. Men do not go to work and break their back to come home and give their money to another man. That is just not the way that men operate, because we just don't. So in that logic, it's hard to disagree with what he's saying. This is a disclaimer. I do not condone all of the things that he's saying, but what I do want to make sure I do is make sure that you have a chance to hear his words in their entirety and make your own conclusion about his full argument.
Problem, how can you be a woman demanding equality out of one side of your mouth, and that out of the other side of the mouth, you're asking a man to protect and provide for you? Men do not protect and provide for their equals. Grown men do not protect and provide for grown men, because men are equal according to the Constitution. Men are equal. How can you ask a man to be equal to a man that you're also asking to provide for and protect you?
Now, I'm not going to say I agree with his logic, but I understand. Now, he makes this point here, and this is the connection to Different World, because this is actually a really interesting point. So take a listen.
But there's that episode of A Different World. I talked about it a few weeks ago on Bernard's, where Whitley and Dwayne are in their apartment, the apartment Dwayne had with the light skin, right? His best friend. Dwayne is leaving and he cusses Whitley out as much as you can cuss someone out on primetime NBC TV. Like he chopped into her, without cussing, of course, but he chopped into Whitley. He walks out of his apartment. Whitley closes the door. She turns around. She falls with her back against the door and collapses to the ground. She's in like orgasmic euphoria because Dwayne checked the shit out of her.
The beauty of A Different World was that here you have this math, computer science, socially awkward, geeky guy as literally the star of the show, and he's dating this young lady who he's very attracted to, but he's still shows his manhood when he checks her.
I shouldn't have to blackmail you to help him.
You don't listen. You are my woman, and I love you. But if you ever tell me that you are not speaking to me for a week again, I will drop you like a bad habit. Oh, and you know something? I'm not through. I was a serious sports fan before I met you. You knew that then, and you know it now, so please spare me those little 10-minute drop form every time I want to go to a game, okay?
I love it when you take charge, Daddy.
I want to give you a little bit more of Little Big Nate, so here you go.
And Kevin Samuels talked about her something B. Taylor. She's a light-skinned bro, and she talked about how she didn't want a 9-to-5 guy. She wants an entrepreneur.
Oh, I don't know. I know what you're talking about. I can't remember the name.
Light-skinned chick with nice hair. Yeah,
I can't remember her name.
They want an entrepreneur. Do you think these women would be interested in a black man starting his own HVAC company? You think these women would be interested in a black man starting his own industrial plumbing business? They think entrepreneurship is glamorous. All they want is glamour. If your job isn't glamorous, you're a dusty.
Disclaimer, those are the words of Little Big Nate, not mine. That said, I think one of the things that gets lost in the discourse today is that men who really care for a particular woman, especially a person who's going to school for like computer science as Dwayne Wade was, which unfortunately we don't get to see that anymore on television because almost all television is reality TV show and rap stuff, and we don't get to see this kind of image. But guys like Dwayne Wade, or better yet, guys who grew up identifying with Dwayne Wade, will break their back for a woman that cares for them. Those guys will do anything in their power, just like he sold his computer. Guys that have a special woman that is devoted to them, like Whitley was devoted to Dwayne, they will do whatever they can to provide for that woman. So when you talk about protect and provide, that is a conditional statement, because anyone who identifies with Dwayne Wayne, if they had their own version of a Whitley Gilbert, that guy and anyone watching this video that watched Different World that identifies with what I'm saying knows that they would have broken their back, or they will break their back, or they are breaking their back, either with a job or with an HVAC company or a startup or whatever, for a woman like Whitley Gilbert.
Would you date a bus driver? Would you date
if he owns the bus? If he owns
No.
it. If he owns the bus,
See, that's a problem. That's a problem.
If you're a young black guy in the late 80s and you had a chance to watch this show, and let's say that you were, good at math, or you were a little bit geeky, maybe a band geek, or maybe you're an artist, or you're a poet, or just not the traditional type of masculinity that you see, especially from black men on television, be it being able to rap, being good at sports, dunking basketballs, getting a lot of chicks. This love story resonated with you. And it resonated with you because you got to see the alternative black guy, if you will, the socially awkward black guy, still be masculine and get the girl. And the reason why this is such an imposing story, such an impressionable love story, is because she loved him when he had nothing. And he remembered that. He was a broke, geeky college student, and that's when their romance started out. And he won her over, or should I say, she fell for him, because she fell for not just who he was, but for his potential. Again, potential. So when you hear all of this talk about what are you now, or what can you do for me now, or if you own the bus company now, there is no interest in what it took for you to become the person that you are now. The interest is only in what you have now. And when you hear the story of Whitley and Dwayne, it's a story of geeky guy grows into the man that he is, demonstrates his manhood, even as a quote unquote socially awkward guy, gets the girl, and the pretty girl loves him for who he is, through his potential, and when he gets successful. if there's not going to be any interest in the buildup, in the becoming the man that it takes to be that successful business owner, STEM guy, a lot of guys are just going to pass, because guys are built to provide and protect for the right person. Thanks for watching. Like, subscribe, comment below, and I'll catch you guys in the next video. Take care, guys.